What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave, and this is another Daily Focus. I am feeling like crap, so we're doing the graphics again. Yay! You guys want to see my ugly mug anyway. So we will be doing another unboxing video today. So as soon as my daughter gets home from school, we got her Nerd Block Jr., so make sure you stay tuned for that. We got all kinds of videos from yesterday. We did 4 videos yesterday, all kinds of good information and good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed all of that as well. Make sure you're checking out everybody in the community, Tommy C, Joe Cronin, of course my good friend and my tag team partner right here on the SmackDown review, Jeff the Huff Huffman, Grand Slam 87 right here on YouTube, Tommy NC 2010, God bless you to my wife. She sneezed, but she's a silent sneezer. It's pretty impressive. It was a cough sneeze, so I didn't need to bless you?
No, it was just a cough.
So it was just a random blessing?
Yeah.
So you're extra blessed. You're married to me. Anyways, so yeah, we make sure you're checking all that good stuff out. Remember, there's all kinds of ways that you can support this channel if you like. Of course, deadondave.spreadshirt.com if you want any Dead on Dave merchandise. The copious cup, the copious shirt, and many other cool items that were all designed by the great Isaac Rojas, who I believe is also going to be my guest this week on Creators Corner. So keep your eyeballs peeled for that. If you want to be involved, you can also add me on Skype, DavidVancura, David Vancura. And I will, who knows, I can call you anytime for a random 5 questions, and you can be on the show that way. Also, if you want to put your own little spin on things, you can see I like memes. I like showing wrestling memes. So if you want to create some memes, you can go to Meme Gene Okerfund. It's a very easy way to make wrestling memes. You just type in Meme Gene on the old Google machine, and you'll get there very easily. And it's very simple to make memes, and you go ahead and tweet them to me at DeadOnDaveV. Or, geez, my wife is like having all kinds of bronchial tube issues. She's coughing and hawking, and we're all sick. This sucks. But yeah, I'm at DeadOnDaveV or right here on YouTube. The Facebook fan page, facebook.com/This Guy's Take on It. Yes, I'm sorry that it's not Dead on Dave Productions, but still, that'll get you there. And just hit me up with your meme, and I'll put it on the show. So make sure you guys are getting involved that way as well. So today we're going to talk about a few things. Oh yeah, my wife just reminded me, we are getting ever closer to the 500 subscription point, and once we get there, we will be doing the big giveaway. We will be doing the big giveaway of all the monthly subscription items from Nerd Block, Arcade Block, and German Loot Chest. And we'll be giving that away to one of you guys. So make sure you get us to 500 subs. The sooner we get it there, the sooner we do the giveaway. So, ta-da! All right, let's get to the awesome stuff we're talking about today. We got 2 things that we're going to get into. One, I think, is important, and I'm surprised I have not brought it up before. But Samoa Joe leaving TNA brought this to my attention, and it just kind of hit me because I was trying to think of how he could fit in to WWE if they wanted to, in fact, bring him in. And the interesting thing about it is there's one role that he could do better than almost anybody else in the company, and in fact they don't have one. And there's and it also ties into why I have a picture of The Undertaker right in the middle. The one thing the WWE has been lacking since The Undertaker has left and become just a one-time-a-year attraction is a solid locker room leader, a presence, somebody to keep everybody in line. Who is the locker room leader right now within the WWE? I don't think it's John Cena. I mean, John Cena is not highly regarded by a lot of people because John Cena is very, very well entrenched as a company man. So I don't think his relations with all of the other talent lower on the card is, in high regards, because of the fact that everybody knows that John Cena is going to do what's best for business and all this stuff. That's the perception. I don't know if that's the reality, but it certainly seems like that's the case. The Undertaker was always known as the conscience of the WWE. He was the backstage judge, if you will. If people had issues, they were always seemed to be bringing it to the Undertaker. There are countless stories about people taking their gripes and complaints to the Undertaker, and the Undertaker would sort things out, and in a lot of cases, the Undertaker would deal out his brand of justice. There are so many stories, and they're all fantastic. While I might not be the biggest Undertaker mark in the world, I certainly respect everything he has done within the wrestling industry and his role as a leader. No matter what type of sports you may be a part of, or any type of team, a backstage, locker room, whatever you want to call it, leader or presence is paramount. It is so important. And the more I think about it, the more it really does seem like the WWE roster is without a leader. It does not seem like there. I mean, Triple H is not that guy because he is corporate. He would be an obvious guy to fill that role if he were still one of the boys, which I don't think a lot of people see him to be. Down in NXT, because he has brought so many of these guys in, he is regarded in that fashion. But maybe on the main roster, that's just simply not the case because he is, a corporate guy now. So it's very interesting to think about of who is the leader in the locker room. Who do you think the leader in the locker room is right now? Is there a definitive de facto leader? Maybe Goldust has fallen to that role, but given all of his issues and problems and inconsistencies just staying on the roster, I find that hard to believe. A guy like Big Show, I'm not so certain that he is an Undertaker-type character. Kane might be, but you never hear any stories about Kane taking a leadership role backstage. These are just names that have been in the company for so long. You would think would have had stories told about them in leadership capacities, but yet you never hear them, and it makes you wonder why. The Undertaker, for plus a decade, was always regarded as that guy. So that leads me to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe can be brought in, and because he's worked with a lot of these guys at Ring of Honor, and because of his reputation as a veteran and as a fantastic worker, and already a backstage presence everywhere else he's been, he would come in and kind of be that sheriff that I think this locker room really desperately needs. Is that a role that he'd be willing to fill, and would he be as welcomed in that role as I think he might? What do you think? Does that make sense to you? It kind of makes sense. I think it makes sense in a lot of ways, but if not him, then who? And is this the problem that really is plaguing the locker room? I mean, it seems like, now I've been in this discussion with Joe Cronin before, that it seems like wrestlers are not taking the most, making the most out of the opportunities with the time they get on camera. I feel if they are put on camera, then they should be able to do what they can to get themselves over as much as humanly possible, like the guys at NXT do. Now, I don't know if they are overstructured as far as what they're allowed to do, but I've never really heard a story from anybody saying they said we got to go out and do 3 suplexes and a roll-up and that's it. What you do with your time in the ring is how you define yourself. And without anybody kind of guiding everybody and prodding everybody along to do their best and to push everybody forward like they've done in the past when a guy like The Undertaker was back there, then it's kind of like a ship without a rudder. And that kind of seems like what's going on right now, doesn't it? This is an aimless ship where a whole bunch of guys are just manning their post. That's all they're doing. They're protecting their spots. They're collecting checks. But they need somebody that can guide the locker room, and maybe Samoa Joe can fill that role. What do you guys think of that? Let me know in the comment section below, or tweet me, hit me up on Twitter, and tell me exactly what you think about that. Use the hashtag locker room leader, and who do you think it should be? So the other thing I wanted to talk about, I want to get into a early Fastlane preview because it looks like the card is now set. Coming off the SmackDown tapings from this week, the final, at least it looks like the final card is now set with the latest match, what I think is going to be the last match now on the card. This was supposed to be a throwaway show. I'm going to go through this card, and I think it's arguable whether or not this is one of the better cards we've seen in a while. Let's look at the matches. First, the kickoff pre-show. Miz TV with Paul Heyman. The Miz TV part doesn't interest me, but hearing what Paul Heyman has to say about the main event and the number one contender spot is a very interesting thing, considering some people really do feel like Brock Lesnar is going to get involved and take this entire main event by storm, thus thrusting us to WrestleMania in a triple threat. Now, I'm not so certain that's going to happen. I think I have figured out what exactly is going to happen in the smoke and mirrors that we are seeing, and I'll get into that when we talk about the main event. The newest match that has been added to this card, I wasn't expecting the match to already take place. I don't know how the build is going to go forward because you got to figure this match is really going to happen at WrestleMania. But Goldust versus Stardust is now official for Fastlane. What's going to happen there? How are they going to further this storyline? Is Dusty Rhodes going to get involved and make it a match at WrestleMania in which Dusty is the special guest referee? That's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen, but I'm not so sure at this point. This is a very weird thing. Is Goldust going to get beaten definitively now and then something else for Stardust at WrestleMania? Maybe they've decided not to have these two at WrestleMania even after all of the last 3 years of build to it, really, and all of the backstage talk. What do you guys think is going to happen with that match? I think it's an interesting situation. Paige versus Nikki Bella for the WWE Divas title. I really feel like Paige is going to win this match, and it's not going to be a big shock to me when she does so. I think the match should be pretty good, but the Bellas don't need the title in their stable to be relevant. The Divas title needs a relevant champion, and I think at WrestleMania it needs to be decided in a really big manner, and I think the only match that's going to be able to do that is Paige versus AJ. So not only do I think Paige will win the match and become the new Divas champion, I believe we will see the reemergence of AJ Lee. Now, I think that because it's been radio silence and we haven't heard anything about AJ in a while, so it kind of makes sense that this is where she would make her return. I also think it's very possible she doesn't return until Monday night, so we'll see what happens there. I think it's pretty interesting. WWE Tag Team title match. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd versus the Usos. Now, they've built this in a way where there's multiple storylines going on within this match. You have Natalya and Naomi, who have become very important to the story. And usually when there's outside type of circumstances that are almost taking the shine off of the main event or off of the event itself, it kind of means that there's not going to be a title change. And I'm thinking that's very possible because they may want to do a multiple tag team match for WrestleMania with multiple tag teams, maybe as many as 3 or 4. And I think that's quite possible with the new reformation possible of the Primetime Players and this emergence of the Ascension. I think you could do Cesaro, Kidd versus the Usos, who I think should still be champions going into Mania since they have the credibility as longtime champions, versus the Ascension versus the Primetime Players. I think that would be very interesting. There's enough time to build the Primetime Players and the Ascension to have their feud kind of merge into everybody else, and that would be kind of interesting. I'd like to see that. I also would not have a problem with Cesaro and Kidd just taking the belts off the Usos. The problem with that is then that would be like the 4th time this year that the Usos have swapped the damn belts, or at least it seems that way, just to go right back into the hunt. So it doesn't really make sense to have a title change unless there's something bigger or a split. There's also a very good possibility that the Usos might be splitting up. I don't see it happening yet, but with the wives involved, with Naomi and Natalya involved, it adds a wrinkle to the match that could lead to some intrigue. Dean Ambrose versus Bad News Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship. I tend to believe this is going to be a throwaway match because I feel that they're building to something bigger at WrestleMania, but I'm not so sure about that now. I don't know. This is a weird match because you almost have to feel like Dean Ambrose needs to win this, that he has to take the title off of Barrett. But if they do that, what does that mean for Barrett? Does Barrett go back to just chasing, or are they going to bring some other guys back to the title picture like Luke Harper, Dolph Ziggler, or what? It's a very weird thing. And considering that Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, Rowan, Rollins, Big Show, and Kane are not on this card, it kind of seems like some of those guys have got to get involved, or they're going to be thrust into their own match as well. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I do feel like Dean, if I had to place a bet right now, I think Dean Ambrose has a good chance to win this match and become the new Intercontinental Champion. I think it would be big for his value, but it just seems like they've booked themselves into so many weird corners right now with how they want to go for WrestleMania. There's just so many options, and it doesn't seem like there should be this many. It's very strange. I just brought up those other 6 guys, and I kind of thrust them into the same conversation, but I think a lot of that is because I have a raging migraine right now, and I can't really think. So I have not seen any word that match is going to happen at the event, the 6-man tag that I was just proposing with Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback versus Rollins, Kane, and Big Show, but it kind of seems like it's going to happen, and if it doesn't, it's going to be built to WrestleMania, and I really hope that's not the case because those 6 guys could be doing so much more bigger and better things than working with each other. But I think it's a good possibility that we see that match added to this card. Sting and Triple H will meet face-to-face in the ring, and I think that has the potential to be the most intriguing thing that happens on this card outside of the main event. I really want to see a face-off. I want to see a really cool meeting. Hopefully Sting will talk. Is Sting going to finally talk? What do you guys think about that? What is Triple H going to say? What is he going to do? Is he going to just try to attack Sting, or is Sting going to get the upper hand? How is Sting going to look? There is so many interesting things. Are they going to pull the swerve here, and maybe Bray Wyatt has not been ranting on The Undertaker the entire time, but he's been, in fact, talking about Sting? Is that a possibility? Could he make an emergence here and take Sting out on behalf of Triple H? That's an interesting thing to look at, too. Very good possibility, even though I feel with the addition to the casket on Monday, it almost screams Undertaker to a point where you can't deny it. But the thing about WWE is sometimes when they're being this blatantly obvious about something, they like to just go the opposite way and swerve everybody. So what do you think is going to happen there? What is going to happen with Sting and Triple H? Let me know about that. United States title match, John Cena and Rusev. This is the match I'd like to see open the card, and for a lot of different reasons. I'm not sure what John Cena has in the tank right now. The guy seems hurt. Live events are, a lot of reports are saying that John Cena is only competing in tag team matches, and he's really just taking beatdowns instead of doing much in the ring. I think this could turn ugly quickly. Rusev, now I was thinking John Cena could win the match. Now I'm not so sure because I really do think he's hurt. I have no idea what they're going to do here. Rusev winning now kind of makes a match at WrestleMania irrelevant. John Cena winning now, I think is going to piss enough people off to think that Rusev's being buried, even though I believe that it would just be to further Rusev's victory and destruction of John Cena at WrestleMania, because that's what I would like to think is going to happen. It's how I would book it. John Cena beating Rusev, taking the title off of him, which I don't have a problem with, by the way, and then losing it to Rusev at WrestleMania 31 and being destroyed by Rusev and then going away for a while. I think that's a really good way to book Cena right now, considering everything that's going on with him and the way he looks, to me at least, because he looks injured. What do you guys think? How would you book Rusev and Cena? Is there a good way? Is there a winning way to book this match? You guys tell me, because I don't know. Number 1 contenders match, Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. Now, this has got all kinds of intrigue all over it because has this been a big smoke and mirrors? Does Daniel Bryan have a chance of winning this match? Did he ever? Is Brock Lesnar going to get involved and destroy both guys to set up a triple threat for Mania? I think that has a very good chance of happening. I think that outcome, there's 3 outcomes here that I think everybody's assuming is going to happen. Roman Reigns winning the match outright, which is one way that this could go down because it's been a smoke and mirrors situation. I think that Roman Reigns could just beat him in a straight wrestling match, very long, technical 5-star match. It helps Roman Reigns get over, and then Daniel Bryan can show respect to Roman Reigns after it, and that would be a cool way to go. However, that's not the WWE way. So the other 2 more likely scenarios is Brock Lesnar beating the hell out of both of these guys, sending it to a triple threat at WrestleMania 31, or my new popular theory that I think is going to happen is Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns wrestling a hell of a match, and then Sheamus returning and screwing Daniel Bryan. He is going to screw Daniel Bryan because I feel that the report that we heard a while back about Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, the match that they wanted to do, is the match that they've always been going to do, and this is the way to do it. It makes way too much sense. They wanted to have Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. Sheamus is coming back a heel. Daniel Bryan needs a big feud for WrestleMania to kind of keep people's minds off of it. This is a way to pivot people off of Bryan, piss enough people off to get super heat on Sheamus, and get that match that they've been wanting for WrestleMania between Bryan and Sheamus all in one fell swoop. So I think it makes too much sense for what the WWE has been wanting to do that it almost has to happen. What do you think is going to be the outcome of the number 1 contenders match, and what do you think this card is going to be? It doesn't seem to be like it's going to be that huge throwaway pay-per-view. In fact, the card looks pretty damn good. When you look at these matches, it's a pretty stacked card. A lot of talent, a lot of intrigue, and a lot of questions. A lot of build to WrestleMania, and it should be pretty damn awesome. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll read some of the best opinions right here on Dead on Dave Productions. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you a little bit later on today with the Nerd Block Junior Girls unboxing video with my daughter, Alicia. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll see you next time. Peace.